From the runways of Orly Airport, a new adventure begins in November 2025, heading south to Malaga before embarking on the cruise ship Le Bougainville. Malaga, the capital of the Costa del Sol, is widely known for its sunny beaches and vibrant, festive atmosphere. But Malaga is also a bustling tourist port, the departure point for numerous cruises to the southern Mediterranean and the islands of the nearby Atlantic. From the city's long history, a rich architectural heritage remains, its true emblem being the Alcazaba, which stands majestically on the heights overlooking Malaga. This imposing fortress was built in the 11th century, during the period of Muslim rule in Andalusia. Initially a defensive structure, the Alcazaba also served as the palace of the city's governors. Its imposing walls enclose a labyrinth of ramparts, gates, and hidden corners that conceal secret rooms, ceramic paved patios, and secluded gardens adorned with fountains, not to mention the commanding view of the city and its fort from the ramparts. Overlooking Malaga's skyline, the Cathedral of the Incarnation is the tallest in all of Andalusia. With its distinctive silhouette, this brownstone monument is recognizable by its single tower, the second of which was never built. This gives it an asymmetrical shape, earning it the affectionate nickname La Monquita, the one-armed one, from all the people of Malaga. Construction of the current building began in 1528. The work spanned more than 2 centuries, blending different architectural styles, primarily Renaissance with Gothic and Baroque influences, until it was interrupted in 1782, leaving the cathedral unfinished. Behind its main facade, a masterpiece of Baroque art, lies a richly decorated monumental nave, its gilded vault supported by powerful columns. The city's historic center is best explored on foot, strolling along wide, palm-lined avenues, through lively squares, and down cobbled lanes lined with the terraces of charming little restaurants, pubs, and wine bars. A festive atmosphere never seems far away. At the end of the day, it's time to head to the Bougainville, the ocean liner moored at the far end of the quay, and embark. After the usual formalities, the welcome drink, and a brief familiarization tour, each passenger can settle into their cabin. It's also essential to follow the safety instructions and participate in the mandatory abandoned ship drill in case of an emergency, hoping, of course, that it never actually happened. In the early evening, the captain gathered all the passengers in the theater to discuss the itinerary for the upcoming cruise.
Je vous rassure, la traversée devrait être plutôt agréable. Il va y avoir du vent, c'est certain, il y aura du vent, mais la météo restera normalement convenable. Et de toute manière, je vous informerai au quotidien de quelconque petit événement de changement horaire ou quelque chose, si cela était nécessaire. Mais pour l'instant, je croise les doigts, tout va bien.
Night had already fallen when the ship set sail from Malaga for Tangier.
The Bougainville sailed along the Spanish coast, then passed through the Strait of Gibraltar in the middle of the night, and it was at dawn that it docked in the port of Tangier, in the far north of Morocco. Tangier, the white city sprawling across the hillsides, is as alluring as it is mysterious. Since antiquity, it has always been a link between Africa and Europe, separated by only 14 kilometers. A strategic city whose port is also the obligatory passage between the Mediterranean and the Atlantic, connected by the Strait of Gibraltar. Tangier is a legendary city, a crossroads of civilizations, a place where the West and the East meet. Its history illustrates the richness and tensions of intercultural exchanges that have attracted numerous artists, writers, journalists, diplomats, and adventurers. Next, one must venture into the Kasbah, the traditional quarter. One must dare to lose oneself in a maze of narrow alleyways and vaulted passages. The high walls are whitewashed and simply decorated with blue, green, yellow, or purple motifs. In the Kasbah, everything invites leisurely strolls and observation. Squares of the Grand Souk and the Petit Souk are the vibrant centers of Tangier life. They have always been places for meeting and trading. The buildings surrounding them are a blend of Arab and Western architecture. Behind a gate or a heavy wooden door, palaces or opulent residences are often hidden. A secret life unfolds amidst orange groves, tiled patios, and elegant fountains. West of Tangier, Cape Spartel, 315 meters high, marks the northwestern tip of Africa and overlooks the entrance to the Strait of Gibraltar. A powerful lighthouse was built there in 1864 to guide and secure the traffic of ships using this important maritime passage. In the late afternoon, the stopover in Tangier comes to an end. It is then necessary to return to the quay and re-embark on the Bougainville. After rounding Cape Spartel, the ship heads south towards Casablanca, the next stop on this cruise. But first, passengers are invited to a cocktail reception and then a welcome gala around the pool.
Alors voilà, c'est la petite soirée de gala de bienvenue. Here we are, the welcome gala. Je voudrais bien sûr vous remercier d'être là. Je vous l'ai dit hier, mais vraiment double merci parce que grâce à vous, je fais ce beau métier. Grâce à vous, aujourd'hui, j'ai profité de Tangier. Je vais vous présenter tous les officiers supérieurs et les managers avec qui j'ai le plaisir de conduire ce navire de jour en jour et de vous amener de Malaga jusqu'à Las Palmas aux Canaries.
The Bougainville sailed all night along the Moroccan coast and docked early this morning at the Casablanca cruise terminal, directly opposite the commercial port. The facilities are enormous, and we have to cross a very long gangway before boarding the bus to Casablanca's main landmark, the Hassan II Mosque. The construction of the Grand Mosque was commissioned by King Hassan II, who envisioned providing the city of Casablanca with an iconic religious and cultural landmark. Combining tradition and modernity, the majestic Grand Mosque is an architectural masterpiece. A symbol of Morocco and Casablanca, it was inaugurated in 1993. Its minaret, built in an Andalusian Moroccan style, rises to a height of 210 meters and is the tallest in the world. The prayer hall, the spiritual heart of the mosque, covers 2 hectares and can accommodate 25,000 worshippers. The finest Moroccan artisans erected marble columns topped with intricately decorated pilasters or carved with verses from the Quran, calligraphed in stucco. These same artisans also meticulously sculpted sumptuous cedar wood ceilings, while the chandeliers were crafted from Murano glass. It is simply magnificent. And yet, the solemn atmosphere of this vast, light-filled space is conducive to contemplation. The ablution fountains are located on the lower level in a large, bright, and richly decorated hall. This is a place dedicated to ritual purification before prayer and to the scrupulous observance of Muslim practices. This hall contains 41 circular marble basins, each surmounted by a marble fountain in the shape of a lotus flower. 600 other water points are distributed along the perimeter walls. All faiths coexist in Morocco, as evidenced by the unusual Catholic Church of Notre Dame de Lourdes, built in a very simple style in 1954. Its originality stems primarily from the interior light diffused through brightly colored stained glass windows, crafted by the master glassmaker Gabriel Loyer. In Morocco, souks are among the must-see attractions. Casablanca boasts several, including the one in the Haybuz district, renowned for its numerous olive vendors. It's also a must-visit for exploring the heart of artisan shops in a truly local atmosphere. Return to the port in the late afternoon. At dusk, all the cruise ships cast off to resume their journey towards mysterious horizons. Then, it's the Bougainville's turn to leave the dock for the island of Madeira, in the heart of the Atlantic. A peaceful day spent on the ocean between Casablanca and the Portuguese island of Madeira, which we will reach tomorrow at noon after covering more than 900 kilometers in 40 hours of sailing. Sunshine in the morning, then a few showers in the afternoon, but the sea remained calm. It was an uneventful crossing where the Bougainville sailed along at 12 knots without disturbing the ship's rhythm. True cruising life for all the passengers. The voyage continued smoothly through the night and all morning towards Funchal, the capital of Madeira. But from offshore, we could see rain showers rapidly passing over the island, which didn't bode well for the success of the stopover. And shortly before arrival, the captain informed the passengers of the port entry requirements.
Nous sommes prévus au pilote pour lui, j'espère donc être à quai pour 13 heures. Le port est plutôt encombré ces jours-ci sur Funchal. Météo quelque peu ensoleillé, mais des passages pluvieux sont à prévoir et un vent de nord-est pour l'instant est établi autour des 30 nœuds. Pour information, nous serons donc à quai à 13 heures pour toute la nuit et demain matin à 6 heures, le navire devra se déplacer au mouillage. J'espère que la houle ne sera pas trop forte demain devant le port de Funchal. En attendant, je vous souhaite une très belle journée à bord du Bougainville. Merci à vous.
Ideally located near the city center, the port of Funchal is often full. This port is very popular with cruise ships, which often stop here when crossing the Atlantic. We already know that the afternoon hike to the levadas in the hills above Funchal will be very wet. Built starting in the 16th century, the levadas are irrigation channels carved into the mountainsides to carry water from the peaks down to the agricultural regions and villages of the island. Originally, these small channels were bordered by paths necessary for their maintenance. Nowadays, these paths have become pleasant hiking routes through Madeira's forests, but today, the walk is cut short because of the rain. We retreat to the center of Funchal and its famous covered market, the Mercado dos Lavradores, a Madeiran institution where culture, history, and gastronomy intertwine. The stalls overflow with vegetables and exotic fruits whose production is favored by the island's subtropical climate. As soon as night falls, light streams down the slopes of Funchal, which sparkle brilliantly, magical. This morning, as planned, the Bougainville left the port to make way for much larger vessels. It had to anchor in Funchal Bay a short distance from the coast, requiring passengers to take a tender to reach the city center. At the very end of Avenida do Mar, we found the ship anchored in front of Fort São Jorge, built by the Portuguese in the 17th century to protect the city from external attacks. From there, we headed towards the cable car that connects Funchal to the village of Monte, offering exceptional aerial views of the rooftops during the ride, all while admiring the Bougainville below. Perched on the heights, the Baroque Church of Our Lady of Monte overlooks the city and offers a panoramic view of the ocean from its towers. Approaching the church from the bottom of the stairs gradually reveals the majesty of its facade, while the interior unveils some treasures of Baroque art. After visiting the church, it is customary to return to Funchal by wicker toboggan, hurtling down steep, narrow streets. Two men in traditional dress guide the toboggans using only their legs and feet to control the balance, trajectory, and braking of these vehicles, once used for transporting agricultural products and now a popular tourist attraction.
Commandant depuis la passerelle, tout le monde est à bord, nous sommes prêts pour le départ. Une petite traversée pour certains un peu mouvementée ce matin, mais la météo finalement nous aura épargné et aura été moins terrible que ce qui était prévu. Notre place au mouillage est plutôt bien abritée de la houle d'Est. Nous allons donc nous mettre en route vers Santa Cruz, distance 242 milles à parcourir. Nous y serons demain midi et la météo devrait normalement être bien plus agréable. Une journée ensoleillée et un léger vent, toujours de nord-est, d'une quinzaine de nœuds. Je vous souhaite une très belle journée à bord du Bougainville.
Heading due south, it takes almost 24 hours to reach La Palma, the westernmost of the Canary Islands. Late in the morning, the Bougainville sails along the coast of this highly volcanic island, whose capital is Santa Cruz. Well before arriving in port, the pilot boat comes to meet the Bougainville. Bringing the pilot aboard is never without risk. Off the beaten tourist track, Santa Cruz is a historic city with a rich heritage. Founded in 1493, Santa Cruz was an important port on the route between Spain and its American colonies. This tranquil town is full of cultural and architectural attractions, with colonial-style buildings and numerous traditional Canarian houses, often adorned with beautiful, intricately carved wooden balconies. It's the last full day of the cruise, and the Bougainville is sailing towards the island of Lanzarote. From early morning, a strange bank of fog veils the eastern horizon. This fog, known locally as Kalima, is caused by a sandstorm blowing in from the nearby Sahara. This weather phenomenon will thicken throughout the day, eventually obscuring the arrival in the port of Arrecife until the very last moment. From the ship's outer decks, Visibility is zero. The increasingly dense fog obscures the island's landscapes, even those closest to the coast. The all-too-brief stopover nonetheless allows time to explore Arrecife, the capital of Lanzarote, which was originally a fishing village built around a sea inlet, the San Guines Lagoon. This natural harbor is still the anchorage for fishing boats and is surrounded by a row of small white houses, all decorated in blue. In the late evening, the Bougainville sets sail from Arrecife for a final night of sailing that will take it to Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. At 6:30 a.m., the Bougainville passes the jetties of a vast industrial port before docking at the cruise terminal, thus marking the end of this beautiful maritime journey across the near Atlantic. Las Palmas, the capital of the Canary Islands, is a cosmopolitan city open to the sea. Not far from the cruise ship terminal, the famous Las Canteras urban beach stretches from north to south, boasting 3 kilometers of golden sand. It is bordered by a pleasant pedestrian promenade that is always bustling. South of Las Palmas, the historic Vejueta district encompasses the city's most emblematic buildings, where narrow, cobbled streets are lined with houses characteristic of 15th and 16th century Canarian architecture. Begun in the early 16th century, the construction of the Santa Ana Cathedral spanned several centuries, resulting in a blend of architectural styles. The interior features 3 naves and a transept of Gothic inspiration, with columns and unusual palm-shaped vaults. From one of the cathedral's 2 towers, the commanding panoramic view of the ocean and the city's outskirts is spectacular. The stroll through the Vejueta district continues with a visit to a beautiful colonial-style building known as the Casa de Colón, now a museum dedicated to Christopher Columbus's voyages to the Americas. This palace served as the famous navigator's residence 3 times. during his stopovers in the Canary Islands before his transatlantic voyages, which were major events in the discovery of the world. Christopher Columbus was the pioneer of great voyages beyond the horizon. He paved the way for all the cruise ships that have since followed in his wake.